Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Andrew Demeter is joining us. He's the young man who went and asked the real question of Lord Pelosi, who began stumbling and fumbling because they're not accustomed to anybody asking him real questions. That's coming up. I want to hear from first-time callers your take when he leaves us in about 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to give the number out now. I want to hear from you out there. They're trying to cause a civil war. It's not really even a question now. Am I right about them trying to cause a civil war and target the Tea Party and veterans and gun owners and Christians as terrorists? That's now official. And now they're going operational with it. Do you really think they're crazy enough to try it? Does George Soros really think he's that insulated? I guess he's overthrown all these countries and got away with being a Nazi collaborator. And I guess he went on 60 Minutes and admitted that he collaborated with the Nazis and said he did what he had to do. I mean, I just... Maybe he is invincible. I mean, he can overthrow a half-dozen European countries and put Nazis in charge. I mean, real Nazis. Heiling Hitler, the vice president of Ukraine. I don't know anymore, man. I'm living in the Twilight Zone. And he's behind all this. He brags he's behind it. I just can't believe what a weird world it is that both my grandfathers fought the Nazis and they lionize it and build it all up as the most epic war of history. And then a top Nazi collaborator in his region, a true rat mole, who would go around finding where the Jews were hiding. And he's worshipped as a Jewish icon and gets ADL awards. I mean, what sick evil. I know I mean, Warren Buffett's a top eugenicist. He's tax exempt. He's the biggest beneficiary of banker bailouts. And he's financing all this anti-gun stuff and abortions. And I'm just sick of him. I mean, I just am so sick of him. And our country's so decadent, playing on their iPhones and watching TV, that I've had people I know contact me and say, chin up, Alex, we know you're good, but man, you know, blah, 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 you're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. I'm not in a lot of trouble. I chose to fight these people. I expect to be attacked. What does it say that some stuttering Texan who knows what's going on could create a system with no college education to oppose the puppet system of the main global empire? That Matt Drudge, with no formal education, could have the dominant news site in the world. It's only because we're just normal people. WorldNet Daily is run by an official journalist who ran some of the biggest newspapers in the country and pioneered web journalism. One of the first to do it on the White House enemies list in the early 90s, how they wanted to shut down Joseph Farah because they said if this is allowed to grow, it will allow choice in ideas with the public. Read the memo. My God, sounds like something Kim Jong-un would write. If we let Joseph Farah do this, others might pick it up and there might be choice and then we won't control reality. That's right, Bill Clinton. The money I have to fund my operation was fairly earned with good products, no government money. Bill Clinton, admittedly, I saw the numbers a few months ago, more than half the tens of millions he raises a year with his charity off black kids goes for his fleet of private jets and foundation homes he lives in all over the world. Or something like $25 million a year goes to it. But he says he likes black people, so they worship him. I mean, it is just, it's just sick. You don't control me, Bill Clinton, you piece of crap, and you never will, you son of a bitch. Excuse me. I'm sorry, folks. We'll be right back. All right, we're going to open the phone system up right now for first-time callers. We're going to you here in just a few minutes after we talk to this guest. They're clearly starting a civil war. They're clearly saying the new terror threat on CNN, that clip's coming up in a moment, is the bigger threat than Al-Qaeda. That's the official internal talking point we got 6 years ago from state police, federal marshals, and FBI in trifecta. And I called the phone numbers. The FBI got very threatening that I had those documents, told me I wasn't supposed to have them. It became national news. You know the rest of the story. They are now going operational with this, and that means they're going to stage stuff. When they roll it out and start announcing there'll be armored vehicles for your safety, and the Tea Party are terrorists, and Christians are terrorists, I mean, they're telling the military that in official manuals. That means they're getting ready to go operational. But I got to say something, then we're going to our guest. I'm going to give the number out. What do they think it does to the military and the police when we warned them about this for years beforehand, and then they get called in a briefing room and told this? See, if we'd have just sat around and waited till they started the mass shootings and the bombings and things, staging them, and then let them march in and tell the cops, they might have bought it because the stuff was already happening. But see, we told them it was coming. We told the cops that they were going to be told this before they were told it. And then we told them, notice none of this is happening, but it will right after they announce the domestic homegrown terrorist task forces. And then that was announced last week, and then now this began. Now, it could be a coincidence, or it could be all the hype now in the public rollout that domestic groups are going to start terror attacks, that weak-minded, crazy people into a culture of death who glommed onto the Tea Party and who were thrown off the Bundy Ranch. I remember seeing him on TV and thinking that that guy sounds like a provocateur, or might have just been mentally ill, might be real. And the media will say I'm backing off, saying it's absolutely staged. I said at the rest of the clip that CNN and MSNBC didn't play that it's the sick culture produced it. One way or another, it's artificial. And I don't take the blame for it when I'm trying to stop it. Now, joining us, here's the toll-free number. 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. But let's say you're an MSNBC or CNN viewer, and you really think I'm evil, and you're one of these people I see, the minority on Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, that really think I'm to blame for all this. I'm creating the paranoia about the corrupt government. There's no NSA illegal spying. Obamacare is a great deal. They're not shutting down our power plants. The government's not funding Al-Qaeda overseas, even though it's admitted. There are no drones. There are no billions of bullets. There are no armored vehicles. There is no police state. There are no derivatives. There is no New World Order. There's not a global government being built. The government's not funding the overthrow of Ukraine with Nazis. Everything's fine. I'm evil. I'd like to hear from you, if you're able to dial the telephone. And I'm being serious. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. 800-259-9231. Now, I wanted to get him on despite all this big breaking news. The official rollout of flipping Homeland Security onto real Americans. You like John Wayne? You like fast cars? You like freedom? You like free market, you like success, you like prosperity, you're bad. You're the enemy, you're a terrorist. And again, if they can bring me down, they can bring everybody down. And they're trying to. This is the biggest assault we've ever seen happening right now. But even if they shut me down, which I don't think they can do at this point, and I think this is just the opening salvo of a larger attack, so I don't want to be a drama queen here, but it is a big deal. This isn't about Alex Jones. This signifies the rollout, the end of the free internet as we know it, which our current issue of the magazine is about. Death of the internet. And we have the proof in this key issue of the magazine available in bulk at cost at InfoWarsStore.com. If they're able to pull this off and everybody accepts, okay, the Tea Party are the new terrorists, Christians are the new terrorists, evangelical Christians are the new terrorists. That's in the new Army manual at Fort Hood. It actually said you'll be court-martialed if you go to evangelical church. It actually said that. Or if you're part of the Tea Party. I mean, that's beyond North Korea. If they convert that and get away with that, they're going to come after everybody. They're going from a free market and prosperity where the politicians have got to at least let you be somewhat free to have prosperity to a total tyranny by design to totally run your life because they want to control every aspect of it. They are publicly ending prosperity under Agenda 21. Do you understand that? All of you are in the crosshairs right now. 800-259-9231. The phones have been loaded, but as soon as somebody hangs up, you can get on. Now, Andrew Demeter is a very interesting individual, and I wanted to get him on, and he had to even fight to get this tape from C-SPAN. C-SPAN responded and said, oh, we don't want to mess up our relationship with the senator. So they're now acting like mainstream whores with their footage for him to get the rights of what's been on television, for him to be able to even show it. When there's supposedly this public interest, oh, we don't know if we want it out that he asked a real question of Pelosi. That might damage our relationship. That's how you have a lapdog media, ladies and gentlemen. The dinosaur state-run media. His YouTube is Teen Take. I know he's a listener of the broadcast as well. He's been featured on the Drudge Report, The Blaze, you name it. He's been interviewed by InfoWars in the past as well, which is great. Then he got picked up by The Blaze and Drudge and others. That's what we're here to do. And he won first prize in C-SPAN's annual and national student cam documentary competition for his documentary, We the People, Genetically Modified. And it's so exciting that he's going out asking real questions, making documentaries as a teenager, and now asking real questions. This is the model. They can shut Alex Jones down, but the genie's out of the bottle, folks. You can go out. You can be a success. You can reach out to people. You can change the world like Andrew. Andrew, thanks for coming on with us.
Thanks for having me on, Alex.
So we're about to play this clip of what happened with you and Pelosi, but first off, what do you make of the attempted demonization of anybody who's a libertarian or conservative trying to tie us to the latest Joker killer?
I think it's absolutely ludicrous. I think it's just a false justification for kind of blaming everything on people who like me, simply ask a question, try to obtain the truth. And again, I mean, we've seen it in the past. It's just, like you said, demonization of any bit of credibility that we have left.
Tell folks about the Pelosi clip.
Yeah, so like you kind of alluded to there in the introduction, I was in Washington, D.C. I won a documentary competition called Student Cam that C-SPAN annually hosts, and the top 5 winners, including myself, were flown to D.C. And the first day we were there, we kind of just toured around D.C. Second day, we had a roundtable discussion with C-SPAN that aired eventually later, and then the last day was kind of the climactic selling point of having us go to D.C., and that's when we met with Pelosi, and that's when I shot my question to her.
Now, there's a backstory that I want you to elaborate on before we play the clip of even trying to then get the footage.
Right, yeah, so after I had confronted Pelosi, that you'll see in a second here, the problem was I recorded it with my phone. I had my phone out. I was kind of holding it at my side for a couple minutes before I confronted her to just start recording, and then when I eventually asked her the question, then I held it up and kind of put it in her face. But the problem was after that, and I only found out afterwards, that the whole video that I thought I had recorded was 8 minutes, and then I found out later that my phone only recorded 4 minutes, and it's not some like secretive issue that the government's trying to get the clip or anything or erase it, because it was due to memory, and my phone's had that issue in the past.
Sure, it's like running out of film.
Right, exactly. So then I contacted C-SPAN when I got back home, asking them if I could have the footage, and because they had a cameraman there, and I knew since my footage was essentially corrupt, I just used theirs. So I emailed C-SPAN, and mind you, right after we walk out of the Capitol, one of C-SPAN's employees, they asked, you know, I saw you filming that. Were you planning on posting that on YouTube, curiously enough? And I thought I had the whole footage at the time on my phone, so I kind of just said, you know, why does it matter? What difference does it make, as Hillary Clinton would have it? And so then I eventually emailed C-SPAN, like I said, when I got home, asking if I could have the clip. And even though I emailed a different individual, the person who confronted me, the C-SPAN employee who asked me if I was going to post it on YouTube, they responded to that email, even though, like I said, I didn't send that to them. And they essentially said, well, per our agreement with Pelosi's office, we can't give you this footage. So I found that pretty funny. You know, C-SPAN touts themselves to be objective and unbiased, yet they won't give me this hard-hitting question. But I do have to say it's not C-SPAN's fault or anything, because C-SPAN's founder, Brian Lamb, and my father and I actually went back to C-SPAN before we went back home. He essentially, you know, encouraged me and congratulated me, saying that I was engaging in real journalism. So I think that really speaks volumes. But then eventually, after a long war waged via email with C-SPAN and one of their employees, I eventually got back the footage. But I had to essentially call them out, saying, you know, the whole basis of this contest I was a part of, Student Cam, was to be objective, be unbiased, be neutral, get both sides of the story, and not like they were essentially trying to do, censor one side that doesn't fit the agenda.
Well, Mr. Demeter, I want to come back and do one more segment, then we're going into the phone lines here, but I am a fan of original C-SPAN. Brian Lamb did an amazing, trailblazing job, and so it shows the culture change. He's no longer, from what I know, fully running it, and so there you have the founder commending you, but then now you've got the establishment types infiltrating the bureaucracy, trying to keep you from showing a simple question where she bumbles around. I mean, they cannot handle reality. We're going to play the clip they don't want you to see straight ahead with our guests and then go right to your calls. Stay with us. Andrew Demeter, successful young journalist, just by asking real questions, has been all over Fox News, all over other major networks, all over the Blaze with Glenn Beck. And, of course, we've interviewed him for a while, and I think, you know, helped him get his word out. But his own talent and his own research and his own commitment is why he's become successful. And I use this as an example to everyone out there of what you can do. But you're not trying to become a famous media personality. You're not trying to be successful, to be a celebrity. You want to become well known as a symbol of the fact that you've been successful promoting the ideas of liberty. And then building your own platform to self-sustain. Because in the Bill Clinton memos, where they coined the term conspiracy theorist in modern parlance, they say, we will apply this to anything unorthodox to control all narratives because we don't want the public having anything but state-run media. It's a 30-something page memo. It's several hundred pages long, but WorldNet Daily only got 30-something pages. Now they have the whole document. It's coming out soon. But it's so damaging that they're having to look with lawyers to see about if they can even release it. It's that bad. I guess they got the rest of it leaked to them out of the Bill Clinton library. I guess they've got moles in there. But my point is that they're threatened by this, and they're threatened by Andrew. So I want to play this clip right now and then get your take on it and ask where you're going from here. But here he is just asking Pelosi a real question, something that, again, the extinct media won't do. They've extincted themselves. Here it is.
Why do you support the NSA's illegal and ubiquitous data collection?
Well, I do not. I have questions about the metadata collection that they were collecting, unless they had a reason to do so. So I found I was one who I didn't support Amash, that resolution. I didn't think that was the appropriate resolution. But I do think that the burden is on the department, and I have fought them for years, on the community, fought them for years on the wide swath that they have put out there.
You did vote for a bill to continue funding for the NSA, though.
Yeah, of course. I don't think we should not fund the National Security Agency. No, they do many things.
Isn't the NSA a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment?
No. Some of what they do should be subjected to scrutiny in some of the things, but they perform many other functions as well, and we hold them to a high order. And I've had my biggest fights here in the intelligence community with the director of the NSA, Hayden. When he was the director, I don't think he was on the level with us. But that doesn't mean that there aren't other things that are there that are good things that are necessary for us to have. But from 9/11 on, the Bush administration went too far on all of these things, and we have the correspondence back and forth.
She makes it political.
Or to demonstrate that they were just doing the wrong thing.
Now, again, for me, Andrew, the issue is they tried to keep that video from getting out because they don't even want it even known that she voted for it. And I love the lawyer speak there where she's saying, oh, well, they do a lot of things, and you know, we need them to do it within a system. So she says, we need to be able to spy on you without warrants, just in a system. This is a huge power grab we're witnessing.
Yeah, I think it's really funny. My favorite part of that whole video, that whole confrontation, is just the fact that she diffuses all responsibility to the Bush administration, even though I'm not even for Bush. I'm a libertarian. But the fact that he was in office 6 years ago. And the funny thing is, too, Bush signed into law post 9/11 the Patriot Act, which was essentially the same thing that the NSA is now, except the NSA is much larger in scope.
Oh, he's gone way beyond Bush, who I didn't defend as well. I attacked it. And the Democrats were all part of that. Exactly. I mean, it's like if we get a Republican blue blood in, they'll be blaming Obama for shutting down our power plants, but not reopening them. I mean, it's always passed the buck, basically.
But yeah, it's just so funny how she's saying, well, I didn't support what Bush was doing. He's gone too far. Yet what she supports now under the Obama administration, a fellow Democrat, you know, now she supports that. So it's completely hypocritical. And I also find it funny how she's supposedly a representative to the American people, yet she can't even explain why she voted for something, supposedly what the American people are in support of. So the fact that she can't even explain it, let alone to a group of teenagers, I find very disconcerting.
And it shows that she's never asked real questions until you come along and point out the emperor's butt naked. In closing, what's coming next for you, Andrew?
You know, I'm just keeping the doors open. I'm going to see what comes next. Leanne told me to tell you to hire me. But, you know, I just like getting out there, getting my message across. And it's important to say also that this video isn't about promoting myself. It's about not about me or not even about Pelosi, but just exposing the fact that politicians can be very hypocritical.
But it's also important to say, I agree, but you become successful by asking real questions. So you also win while doing the right thing. We're just on so many fronts, global crises are being exacerbated because the world technocrats have decided to go with crises and fan crises and build them so they can pose as the saviors and bring in total control. The Hegelian dialectic of problem, reaction, solution. So I'm going to go to your phone calls here. The guys pointed out, they said, Alex, we got like 8 or 9 clips of different MSNBC, CNN attacking you. Hundreds of newspapers, thousands of blogs, all of them White House affiliated or run, literally saying that I influenced the guy to kill people. Al Sharpton acting like a civil war is about to break out, but that it's a good thing. I mean, it is just insane. Let's play a few of the clips, go to your calls, and back to clips. John Bound, there's too many of them. I've got a list here. You found even more. You found Danny DeVito from the Penguin. I mean, some lady from the Southern Poverty Law Center. Tell me her name.
Heidi Branch. Heidi Branch from the SPLC.
Okay, so you found her, and let's go ahead and play this clip. This is MSNBC.
The government needs to take this seriously. These kinds of people have killed more Americans domestically than Islamic extremists in the last several years. This is a serious threat, and the government has to be looking at these things.
Well, we're going to...
All right, and that's from Al Sharpton's FBI program. Now, shifting gears into the same subject, we never played this yet, too. There's so many clips. Can you pull up the CNN saying the same thing? That now the Tea Party is more threatening than Al-Qaeda? See what I'm talking about here, folks? Now, I'm on record telling you this 6 years before it started. This is their battle plan. It's been their battle plan all along. There's the article, Infowars.com, Kurt Nimmo. CNN says Liberty Movement more threatening than Al-Qaeda. We're going to go ahead and play you that clip. So it's CNN, it's MSNBC, it's all of them. Let's go ahead and play the clip.
But on the airwaves today, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, of whom Jared Miller was allegedly a fan of, Alex Jones fomented even more anti-government paranoia.
We are in the middle of a globalist revolution against this country right now, and my gut tells me that the cold-blooded, degenerate, evil killing of 2 police officers and a citizen in Las Vegas yesterday is absolutely staged, ladies and gentlemen.
Joining me now is the host of MSNBC's The Reid Report, Joy Reid. Joy,
all right, and again, in Kurt's article, the first clip he has is from MSNBC. There's another, the story of Jared and Amanda Miller, and that's the one where they say the same thing. We have a quote in the article. We're going to not just have a link, we're going to add that to the video, and I'm going to play that as well, where CNN says Liberty Movement more threatening than Al-Qaeda. So let's get the clip on that subject. We got a bunch more of the Al Sharpton. We haven't played Chris Matthews demonizing me. But again, here's the quote. The attack in Vegas from CNN is far from the only incident of violence in American far right. Peter Bergen billed as CNN's national security analyst. So see, now we have the national security analyst telling us how citizens are the threat. I mean, that's the definition of an authoritarian country. Anyone caught out after dark will be permanently detained, a.k.a. the Running Man. Quote, according to data collected by the New American Foundation, right-wing extremists have killed 37 people in 16 violent incidents. Oh, my gosh. Honeybees killed 230-something in the United States since 9/11. Did you hear that? In 12 years, 37 people, some ADL front group says. Let's read the rest of this. All of Homeland Security, hundreds of billions a year for 37 dead over 12 years. So, oh my gosh, 37 people and 16 violent incidents in the United States is 9/11. That's about 3 a year. The number is more than 21 people killed by militants motivated by Al-Qaeda ideology in the United States. That's because it's made up. They run the Saudi Arabian terrorists. The criminals that run our country, they're running them in Syria, where they killed 300,000 people, mainly Christians. All right, I said I'd go to your calls. It's just, what a hoax. I don't believe anything they say. We have no idea what really happened in Vegas. I mean, it's that bad, folks. We don't know what happened at Sandy Hook. I mean, they had blue screens down there with Anderson Cooper disappearing on screen. CNN did fake Scud missile attacks in 1990. You can't believe anything they say. It's like believing Bill Clinton. And they call that a conspiracy theory because he put it in a memo ordering the media. If you question any of his lies, he calls you that name. I don't care what name you call me. Throw me in the briar patch. Let's play the Chris Matthews, and then we'll go to the calls.
Theories have a presence or at least a grudging acceptance within the political mainstream because they're expedient. And what I think we have to do is stop this demonization, the birtherism, the conspiracy theories. Alex Jones on the radio today saying it's staged and all this kind of stuff.
This whole thing was staged, but Alex Jones, just to get this straight, you're saying that he went on the radio today and said the federal government created this thing, and those 2 people really didn't do what they did. They didn't shoot the 2 police officers. They didn't shoot the civilian at Walmart's. They're saying that what do they think? I always wonder about conspiracy theories. What do they think did happen if it didn't happen as we saw it happening?
He thinks it's a false flag operation like the Boston Marathon bombing. And what I think is important here is there are conservative people of goodwill and wonderful folks on that side of the fence. But what we have to have is some kind of agreement about process and demonization and resolving conflicts. And more broadly, let me just say to the left as well.
Oh, yeah. Just everybody, let's be nice. This is not an assault. Lay down, GI, lay down. Tokyo Rose loves you. She'll kiss you and put you to bed at night. Let's go to your phone calls. Let's go ahead. I appreciate Jess calling and holding for 30 minutes. Jess in Texas, you're first up. What do you think about all this? I mean, should we just believe known certified liars who tell us they lie to us and who staged other stuff? I mean, is it wrong that I question known certified liars?
I don't think it's wrong. And first off, I just want to say I've been watching you since Austin Access days. I don't know how long that's been now, but and I own guns, and I've never gone out and shot anybody, and I'm not planning.
Well, you owning guns made the crime rate go down 52%. The FBI admits that's the main reason. I mean, the crime rate went down 52% with guns because there's more guns. I mean, it's a fact. But just go ahead. You're a bad person.
Yeah, and so I'm bad for owning guns, one, and I was reading a bunch of articles last night, and it just seems like everything's just escalating, and there's this quickening going on, and it seems like something really big is coming. I don't know what it is, but it's not caused by the people or Alex Jones. I don't think you have that much power over people. I mean, you reach a lot of people, but you're not brainwashing and controlling people.
Well, I wish I had more power. I say probably every day neurotically, to the point if family says, quit saying it. It sounds crazy when I say, don't shoot police. Well, I mean, they're always saying I'm making people shoot police, so I'm saying don't shoot police, and then they say I'm saying shoot police. So I'm saying don't shoot police, 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 but they're saying I'm making people shoot police. So what am I supposed to do? I obviously don't have power over these people. I think the average police should be glad I'm here trying to stop a civil war. I mean, do you understand they want to start a civil war? Do people realize that it'll be like nuclear bombs going off in this country politically and economically and physically if a civil war starts? The Civil War in this country killed over 300,000 people in 4 years in the 1860s. Do you know what a civil war, they've billed Obama as this Lincoln savior, and they plan to have him with the domestic security force start a civil war. They've admitted that was their plan the whole time. Do you realize they want to have Civil War Part 2? How many people do you think are going to die in that, brother?
Maybe millions. I mean, at least, if not more.
Yeah. And let me tell you, they're telling cops in official memos that are in Forbes, not Infowars.com, that there's going to be a civil war. And the enemy is the veterans. They're telling cops, pick a fight with the veterans. That's like go and stick your you-know-what in a beehive, to quote somebody from Anonymous. I forget exactly who said that. But I mean, this is not a good idea. It's like I don't want to say it. I'll come up with the weirdest stuff now that I talk about that. I mean, it would be like putting a funnel in your mouth up against a beehive and having them fly down in your lungs. I mean, it'd be like sticking your hand in a meat grinder in a garbage disposal. I mean, I've got a family. I've got children. I want stability. I want to fix things peacefully. They want to start a civil war. Anything else? I mean, I just cannot tell people enough. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. We've got to stop it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's just insane how many different articles are, I mean, they're saying that, oh, Alex Jones liked this guy's Facebook page, and Rand Paul liked his Facebook page, and all these people they're just trying to lump together, and none of it's confirmed. And I mean, there's just all the trolls all over the internet just with them, and people don't know any better, and they read these comments on either Facebook or a news site, and they take it as fact.
Well, sir, I mean, they've got Facebooks with me with my head photoshopped on a priest robe, claiming I'm a pedophile priest, and I'm not even Catholic. They've got websites with me photoshopped with transvestites having sex, and people think it's real. I mean, exactly. I mean, I've been through this. We don't know if this is really their stuff. We don't know if he was some deep cover informant of theirs. Listen, I get fundamentally like I'm at the edge of a cliff. I appreciate your call. When I talk about Oklahoma City and the names of the FBI agents, the CIA people, and that were inside the building planning the bombs that were seen by multiple witnesses, they killed some of the witnesses, including police officer of the year, Terrence Yakey, and some medical folks. But I've talked to one of the survivors that lived after the testimony, Jane Graham, here on air. I've talked to other police officers that saw it going on, like Don Browning, highly decorated Marine, Vietnam, head of the K-9 unit for 30-something years till he retired there. And every time I talk about it, I feel like I'm at the edge of a cliff because we name names in that show, folks, and I got death threats over it. We got the hotel receipts. They lied and said they weren't there. They were seen by witnesses planting the bombs. And I feel like I'm on the edge of a cliff when I talk about it because I'm smart. I know the kind of stuff that'll get me killed or set up. But, I mean, at a certain point, you got to just go, I'm not afraid anymore. And this attorney general was the deputy attorney general, and his emails came out in lawsuits in Salt Lake City, or people that were killed because their families have standing. And he was involved in the cover-up bare minimum. I mean, they ran the false flag of Fast and Furious that killed thousands. I mean, I am literally on air. They're trying to put the head of the Veritas Project in jail routinely. They're trying to put Dinesh D'Souza in prison. They've tried all sorts of crap with me to put me in jail. I mean, I don't want to even get into it all, folks. It's just, let me explain something. This is real, folks, okay? This isn't a game. I know who these people are. They're bad. Does that mean the average FBI person's bad? No, a lot of them are good people. Does that mean the average cop's bad? No, they're great people on average. But they've got unlimited power now in this corrupt system, and they got bad people on top that are getting away with murder. Let's go to your calls. You're not going to shut up. I'm just really freaked out, man. I'm freaked out because I don't want to be right. I'm freaked out because it's over the top, folks. I mean, just as sure as the sun came up this morning, they're getting ready to stage a civil war, and I don't know how to stop them. And then it's got the cherry on top that I'm going to get blamed in the middle of it. Don't you see, folks, how epically horrid this is? But we could stop it. I should do a whole show tomorrow on how do we stop it. I don't know what we do at this point. I mean, it's so horrible. They're shutting the country down. They're stealing the pension funds. They're bankrupting us. They're shutting everything off. The borders are wide open. They're funding Al-Qaeda. And then if we resist, even in words, they call us terrorists. Brian in North Carolina, you're on the air.
Yeah, Alex. I'm a singer-songwriter in a band called the Damn Quails. We just tour in the East Coast. We're out here, got a bunch of survival shields, keeping us detoxified.
Very interesting.
We've been seeing a bunch of trucks spraying the glyphosates, man, and every time we stop along the rest stops on the highway, you can smell that stuff out here. We're in North Carolina right now.
Well, it is a sterilant, and it also grows breast tumors on record. I mean, they admit it grows breast cancer. But no one will say, hey, let's stop using it or get something else. Let's just find a cure for it. Well, how about the cure is not having glyphosate in the drinking water?
It literally smells like poison.
My grandmother will not get surgery. She's almost 90, and she's still sharp as a tack, and I love her as much as anybody in my family. She's had breast cancer for 3 years. And, you know, it's slowly growing, and if she lives long enough, it'll kill her. But, I mean, you know, this has touched me. Everybody's been touched by breast cancer. My wife's mother, you know. I mean, it makes me mad. And turns out Monsanto knows exactly what they're doing. Sir, what do you think of because I'm not mad at you, but I opened the calls up, and I said, you know, we're talking about civil war and the shootings and how they're now saying Homeland Security's for the Tea Party. For me, I think that's a big deal that the anti-terror apparatus is for the Republican Party. And I think the Republican leadership should come out and speak out against this. But instead, they're working with the Democrats to go after the libertarian wing of the Republican Party. I say this is off the chart big. I appreciate your call, Brian. Is anybody else calling about this? Let's talk to Jacob in Arkansas. Jacob, go ahead.
Hey, man, how you doing?
This is above my pay grade. I'm in over my head. But so is everybody else.
Oh, my God. I totally understand what you're saying. I don't normally get to listen live, man. I'm a fish farmer, and I'm getting rained out up here in Arkansas today. But what I called in about was I think how the Civil War is actually going to go down is financially the dollar's going to crash. And, well, I'm really nervous. And I think the dollar's going to collapse. And then the food stamp zombies are literally going to start raping and pillaging the land. And people like me who can shoot ducks from 200 yards away with a .22 on moving water is going to be the last stand. We're going to be the last stand.
Stay there. I'm going to come back to you, and then we're going to go to Chase, Jason, Chris, GB, and everybody. We're doing 30 minutes of overdrive. Everybody stay there. I'm going to come right back to you. That's right. And who do they train to fight? Not the zombies. They train to fight people that can skin a buck or run a trot line. We'll be right back. I'm going to go to your phone calls now in 30 minutes of overdrive into the next hour. Some stations don't carry it. A lot of them do. Internet, you can listen to Infowars.com or Infowars.com/show. There's a story up on DrudgeReport.com in amongst all the other massive border collapse. It's just border collapse, lawlessness. Obama's officially a dictator with this. On the left-hand side, it's got third military base tapped to fill illegal immigrant children. They're renewing a new amnesty push. That's the answer. Just legalize everybody, on top of it being by fiat. Border agent issues plea for help, says USA overrun by criminal aliens. We confirmed his identity, and he's a border agent. And he didn't even say we couldn't use his name, but I told Salazar, who wrote the article, we're adding his name, Don Salazar, to just say name withheld to protect source. We confirm the source. So we're going to add that to the bottom of the article, that this is a confirmed Border Patrol source. And by the way, folks, when you send us these letters or photos or intel, tell us if you want your name out or not. You know, that's always important. Because like sometimes people say, well, withhold this, we will hold even more. But, I mean, I think you've already had the head of the union come out and say they plan to get rid of the border entirely and it's totally criminal and lawless. So they're somewhat public because they have a union. So you could say unions are bad, but then sometimes they're good. Because then they can tell the truth and have some protection. But you got 24 troops committing suicide every day. You got more U.S. soldiers killed in friendly fire, but it's the end of the world when 2 cops die. Cops die every day in automobile accidents. You know, it's a dangerous job. I'm sad it happened. It's terrible. But I'm not taking the guilt for it. I mean, this guy that reportedly killed the people out in California, if you believe the official story last week, was a Democrat on record. Big fan of MSNBC, the Young Turks. I'm not blaming them for it. The guy was a nutball. But I don't act and operate like they do. Al-Qaeda has seized another Iraq city after NATO gave them a base in western Iraq. I mean, this is just out of control. This is so out of control. But DrudgeReport.com is linked to our article from Don Salazar, breaking it down. And I mean, folks, I've lived in Texas forever. The Hispanics in Texas are as much a part of Texas as anybody. Black, white, doesn't matter, more so. That's fine. That's part of Texas culture. The issue here is that the jobs are gone. The illegals get on welfare and work on top of it. That's the phenomenon with the illegals, welfare and they work. Because they want to make money and have a better life. The point is they're being used as a political weapon. And I've never seen what looked like 100 day laborers out front the Home Depot on the side of I-35 and 290. Coming to work the other day, I was downtown doing some business and I was driving up. And I mean, it was like 100 people, but I was late to work. It was like 30 minutes to showtime. I'd gotten ready at home. And I was driving and I was like, that's like 100 people there. I was like, well, at least they want to work, but here's the issue. They get told by the Democrats, you get all this welfare for your wife to stay home, take care of your kids. Well, they go, I like that idea. Okay, I'll take some money. And you just vote Democrat, all right? And they go, yes, sir. And again, it's not that I'm even a Republican, except now it's an endgame. I don't like having 2 parties. I want 10 parties. Now we're only going to have 1. We'll be back in Overdrive. I'll promise I'm going to Jacob, Chase, Jason, Chris, JB, and others. Chase is up next, then Chris, and others. But we're going to finish up with Jacob. Well, all Hades is breaking loose. I was finishing up with Jacob. I appreciate him holding. Chase, Chris, Jason, JB, GB. We'll get to all of you. 800-25-99231. All right, Jacob, you were getting into the whole Civil War thing. I totally agree with you. You've got upwards of 50 million people on food stamps, 100+ million people on some form of food assistance, 100 million people on some form of welfare, another 50 million that are government dependent. I mean, that's more than half the public.